We grow up dreaming of owning our favorite supercars. We save and we plan and we get closer and closer every day. But the cars do their part too through a beautiful thing called depreciation.
Depreciation makes our dream cars cheaper every single day. AutoTempest challenged us to buy the best examples of this phenomenon that we could find, and since we also need an escape, they told us to meet in a deserted location where they would present us a series of challenges.
And seeing as we're supposed to be distancing ourselves from each other and avoiding unnecessary travel, there could be no better place for this task than Las Vegas.
And it's not enough to just wait for your dream car to depreciate. You have to know where to look. Fortunately, AutoTempest makes it super easy by combining all the major car listing sites into one search. It is the best tool to monitor the value of your dream car in real time. Now, our task here was to find the best and cheapest depreciated supercar and then test them against each other. And the two losers would have to list their cars for sale on AutoTempest.
I'm Ed Bolian from VinWiki.
I'm Tyler Hoover of Hoovy's Garage.
And I'm Freddy Tavarish Hernandez, and this is CarTrek 2.
In Las Vegas, you can see fallen stars, amazing shows, and travel the world in just a few miles. But the Strip was not ready for the car I pulled up in.
Whew! Welcome everyone to the best depreciated supercar value in the world. This is a 2003 Maserati Coupe GT Trofeo Tribute car. This thing is awesome. It has been lightened, it has been lowered, it looks amazing, it sounds amazing. This, when it was brand new, was $95,000, and I got it for just under $9 grand, which means 90% depreciation. And it gets better than that, because under this hood is a 4.2 liter Ferrari V8, making 390 horsepower. And that's mated to something very special, a 6-speed manual transmission. And there's no way that the other two can get anything more impressive. Oh, come on.
You don't look tired. Did someone else push that here for you?
When was this on fire?
Never.
Okay, you're gonna need to explain this.
This is my 2003 Aston Martin Vanquish. Well, let me tell you about its 460 horsepower V12, one of the greatest cars you could have bought when it was new. Everyone would agree about this.
Not everyone would agree, but okay.
Oh, I think they would. James Bond obviously liked it enough to drive it, I'm sure with no additional compensation. The perfect car for a depreciation challenge.
Okay, you talk too much. How much did this car cost you?
Why don't you guess? How much do you think this car should have cost you?
A normal version of this car would have been 60 to 80 grand.
Originally over $245,000, and I bought it for 29 grand. I don't think there's any car that could have depreciated by more dollars than that, given this challenge.
Okay, a new Camry, 35 grand. You're saying that a V12 Aston Martin was less than that. What happened to this car?
Well, what has happened to this car is obviously its notorious unreliability. But this one, in fact, has spent its last 7 years also in Colombia.
Does it have any secret compartments in the back that I should know about? And I'm not talking about 007.
Well, I don't want to disparage the developing world to assume that that's the only occupation a Colombian citizen might have to afford a car like this, but I suppose we probably should not get too close to any drug dogs during whatever route AutoTempest has us take. But, Freddy, what happened to this car?
What do you mean, what happened to this car? Look, it's awesome. This is a Trofeo Tribute car. Harkening back to the days when Maserati actually made really awesome cars.
How many miles are on this car?
Listen, that's not 120,000.
120,000
Yeah,
miles.
it's barely broken in.
That's just right where you want a Maserati to be.
Exactly.
An Italian supercar. I mean, what former owner made the car look this terrible?
Not former.
What do you did this?
Yeah, I did this.
You took a Maserati that looked more like they let it off the assembly line and you made it look like this?
This is much better though. Number one, it looks amazing. Number two, this was supposed to be about cheap supercars, and supercars are striking. Look at this thing.
I don't know that that would be the word I'd use to describe it, but I mean, when you think about depreciated supercars, obviously Aston Martins and Maseratis are the first things to come to mind. What do you imagine Tyler will have brought?
I don't know, it has to be something like BMW, or it can't possibly be any better than this.
Well, clearly not, but where are we?
This place looks kind of cool.
They've had a busy muralist. AutoTempest outdid themselves with these accommodations. Freddy and I went in search of some refuge from the brutal desert heat. As Tyler had his fill of blowing on old ladies' dice at the craps tables, he decided to grace us with his presence.
Well, hello. Very nice. I would say that this Vanquish is Freddy's, but when you look at that Maserati, there's no way Ed would be caught dead in that thing, so. Where are they? And why are we at P.F. Chang's house? Huh. Oh, this is gonna be like an episode of House Hunters where I say wow way too many times. Wow. Wow. A rainbow circle. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is my room. Called it. A little voyeurism with the shower here. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. Faux finish. Oh, look at that mural. Ooh. This is crazy. This house is nuts. Where are these guys? Guys?
What do you think he'll have brought?
Like a Ferrari 456.
That would certainly qualify.
Jag.
Could be a Jaguar, absolutely. Maybe an Alpha?
Like a GT. Oh. There it is. Nice of you to join us.
Oh, yeah. Nice horsey.
Look at you. Aha, what do you think?
AutoTempest really went all out with this one. Is that a grotto?
It is. I'm not sure we'll get the full use out of it, but, you know, there's worse places to be.
It's amazing.
So what specimen of automotive masochism did you bring to show us today?
You'll see. You'll see. You're going to love it.
Oh, I seriously doubt that. But
Yes.
let's find out.
It has to be a Jag.
Brace yourselves.
Tyler, this may not be playing fair. You know that obviously I have a significant soft spot for this generation of CL, but the reason we use them for Cannonball is that it's not a supercar, it's under the radar.
Well, you set the Cannonball record in the lesser CL, the 55. This is the CL65 AMG with the Pagani Zonda twin turbo V12, 600 horsepower, 700 pound-feet of torque. This is a supercar. It is very
needs
exotic.
700 foot-pounds of torque because it's not a Pagani Zonda. It weighs like 6,000 tons.
Well, it's a luxurious Pagani Zonda.
Oh,
yes.
is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Also, Mercedes is known for some orange peel in the paint, but that's not the right color for this car,
Well,
is it?
it was really smoked silver. I bought it, you know, I wanted to make it a little more exotic, so I did the race car red. I also wanted to tribute the original AMG, the red pig, the old race car of the 70s.
Certainly the pig moniker is appropriate here.
Tyler, did you wrap this yourself?
No, I paid good money for it.
Are
yes.
you sure?
Yes.
But now, Freddie, if we're going to be critical of wraps here,
Right, yeah. How much did you pay for that pile of garbage over there?
Okay, that beautiful, stunning Maserati over there was $9,000.
$9,000.
At an original MSRP of $95,000.
That's pretty good, but it's an awful, awful car. This Vanquish is absolutely terrible to drive, but it is beautiful, Ed. So how much did you pay for this?
Well, originally it would have been about $245,000, and I got it for just 29 grand.
That is an excellent deal.
Absolutely, over $200,000 worth of depreciation, and
Yeah.
200 grand is more than even the original MSRP of your car.
So this was pretty expensive. It was $180,000 new, which is unbelievable how expensive this was. I got it for $13,000, which, if we're going off of a percentage of depreciation, this is only 7% of its original MSRP. That's about 10%, and this is 12 or 13. So this, percentage-wise, most depreciated.
But that's not what we said. We said the most depreciated supercar, and obviously I've brought it.
And percentage-wise, if one of these struts go, you total this car out 6 times over.
Well, it's a German, very reliable car. It's
Oh, is it?
Very reliable.
Guys,
this old
stop
piece
it,
of junk
stop
over
it.
here talking to me.
I've gotten a text from AutoTempest. Clearly, this was not an equal MSRP playing field. So the win goes to the greatest percentage off of original price.
Thank you.
Well done, Tyler. Of course, to see that much depreciation, we suspect that the cars might have some issues. It's time to find out everything wrong with your cheap supercars, and there's really only one man for that job. Go to this address and you'll see the lowest estimate wins.
Does yours start?
Yes, it starts, okay? Does yours leak?
Yes, it leaks.
Oh, let's go find out how expensive some parts are.
So I am a very big fan of Italian supercars, and this was basically a dream come true. And it sounds magnificent. Now there are a few very slight imperfections. One is right here. I put the window down wanting to experience the fresh Las Vegas air. It doesn't go back up anymore, so now I have that fresh Las Vegas air, which is 110 degrees, kind of scorching the left side of my body. And you'll notice that my seating position is a little bit weird because this seat is broken. I just wish that this was in a more racing position. I'm just gangster leaned all the time. The gauge cluster, everything works except for the oil pressure gauge, which is important generally. The clutch engages right at the very, very top. So sometimes it's hard to get it into gear because I don't think it's disengaging all the way, which means it's also due for a change. And those are not very cheap. So for this challenge, I think I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
Yes! Oh, and will you listen to that? There is absolutely nothing like the noise that gets made by a naturally aspirated V12. Now, of course, they may soon become a vestige of a bygone golden era of engine displacement, but man, I love them. I think they're just the greatest thing that could ever happen to a car, is that you put a big V12 motor and don't make anything stand in the way of how it sounds. Now, of course, it has to be said that between that glorious motor and the Colombian road battered wheels on this Aston Martin, there is something that we must talk about: the transmission. Now, we demonize paddle shift transmissions in automotive culture pretty often, but that's really because of a few bad actors. This is the criminal in the bunch. This is the reason people have grown to hate them. Not only is it a little bit awkward in the way that you interact with this car, but it is very unreliable and catastrophically expensive when it breaks. And they do break all the time. The actuators fail, the pumps fail, the clutches consume prematurely. Now you can swap it with Aston Martin Works for $30,000 of your dollars to a true manual. those cars retain all of that money back in residual value. If this car was normally worth $50,000, $60,000, were it not for the history that made it cheap to me, if you swap it to a stick, it pushes 100 grand. And those cars are wonderful. Now, in a circumstance like this, where I'm just shuffling between gears on a surface street where I'm not stopping or having to reverse, it's really not that big of a deal. The car drives nicely and I enjoy it. But when you do get into some stop and go traffic, all of the pathologies play out and you do grow to hate it. But do you hate it enough that you don't want to own this car? And the question of this whole challenge is, what is it really like to own and live with these depreciated supercars? Because the depreciation here is because of the gearbox. Everything about this car is beautiful, sounds great, makes good power, goes fast enough, everything that you want. Whew. Even a little bit more ground clearance perhaps. But at the end of the day, I'm getting a great deal on a car that looks like it's worth $150,000 because of this gearbox. Now, my promise to you is that I am not going to spend this entire trip talking about this gearbox. We're all on the same page about that. It is terrible, but does that make this the greatest supercar bargain you could ever find? I think it might. It was good enough for James Bond. It's good enough for me.
Oh yeah, sitting in a Mercedes of this era for me is like putting on my favorite pair of shoes. I love these cars, and even though it may not have the exotic badge, it has all of the exotic properties. The looks, the pillarless coupe is beautiful. The engine is by far the most powerful of the three cars. 600 horsepower, 700 plus pound-feet of torque. For once, I am not in the slowest car. I have by far more power than both Ed and Freddy's cars combined. We were talking about this being a Red Pig tribute earlier, and for those not familiar with AMG history, the Red Pig was the first Mercedes AMG that really put AMG, the tuning company, on the map. And it was a giant S-Class, so the biggest car that Mercedes makes, and they took the biggest engine, the 6.3 liter V8, and tuned it, hot rodded it, and took their biggest car racing. It did terribly, but it was so amazing to see that it became famous and made AMG famous. And this CL65, it may be huge and a terrible race car, but it has quite a presence. So now that we're alone, I'm going to level with you guys. It's kind of a bombshell. German reliability, it's a total myth. The only reason that German cars last for so long, in my opinion, is because owners are willing to spend ungodly amounts of money to keep them running. Now, this car is going to be way, way more reliable and have way less wrong with it than Ed and Freddy's car, for sure. But I do have some concerns. There's definitely an oil leak, and I feel a little driveline vibration, like maybe some mounts are old. I shouldn't be feeling this V12 as much as I do. Normally they're silky smooth. You can't even really hear them or certainly feel them in idle, and I can with this car. Oil leaks and motor mounts, though, don't affect the performance one bit. This thing still has all of its power. Yeah, that's for sure.
Hello?
Hey.
Is this the right place? This is the address that AutoTempest told us to go, right?
It is, yes. And my check engine light just came on, so who is this magical person here that's supposed to tell us all the things wrong with our cars? Oh,
Wizard!
Oh.
Wizard!
Speaking of wizard, and he appears.
Hello, Wizard! The car wizard, everybody!
Yeah.
I was just working in my shop, and now where am I?
You're not in Kansas anymore. Viva Las Vegas, baby!
Vegas.
Yes!
Amazing. So the next question is, why am I here?
We need your wizard expertise, your beard of knowledge. So how many of these do you think we've done, Wizard?
At least 100.
Maybe
more.
200, yes. This is our contribution to pop culture, I guess, right
It definitely is.
Yeah.
So what are your concerns with this car?
Well, not much. It's a 2005 CL65, loads of service records, everything that's supposed to be done has been done. It is a little oily underneath here, though.
Well, we're going to find out today that the flashlight is truly mightier than the sword.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty oily.
Yeah, that's bad. And these are little ducts for the turbos to cool.
It tastes like engine oil.
It's obviously engine oil. You didn't need to taste
Well,
it.
I know that now for sure, but
You have to taste things. It's so weird. It's a lot of oil.
Oh, yeah, valve cover gaskets. All the way down the block and down the oil pan there.
Not too bad then.
No, that's not too bad of a job. Check your brakes.
Those are expensive.
They also look very new,
Good.
very thick. I don't see any leaks up here on your ABC suspension, so that's good.
That's very good. For those of you that don't know, it's a complicated hydraulic suspension that when it breaks bad, but when it works, it's amazing.
These motor mounts look flat as a pancake. We'll definitely need a set of those.
Okay.
And the transmission mount is also fully collapsed.
Charming.
This flex disc looks like it could be replaced. A pretty good crack in it.
It's a lot of torque, Wizard. 700 pound-feet of torque.
That's probably what did it.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a leak here, but that's just, I don't think I would mess with that. That's
Yeah.
nothing that's dripping.
Vapor seepage. Yeah, go easy on me.
Go easy on
But go
you.
harder on the next ones for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's really a whole lot wrong on the bottom. Nothing drastic anyway.
No, it's unusual for me, right?
It is. It's very odd, which is a good thing.
Yes.
It's nothing to complain about.
I guarantee you, Freddie and Ed, though, those are two just giant turds out there.
Oh, really?
Now I can imagine that Tyler probably told you to be quite mean to me, but I think this car has probably lived a hard enough life already.
Between you and me, it's the better looking car between the two.
Clearly.
So have you had any concerns driving or?
The on-center steering feel is a little bit weak. The check engine light just came on.
Okay.
It occasionally seems like it's running on half the motor.
Oh, half
If
the
I'm
motor.
honest.
Okay, and let's take a look underneath. We're gonna see the story of plates and bolts.
Okay.
But I do see, it looks like someone's been hitting rocks or something.
So it spent the last 7 years in Colombia. I would imagine the road quality there was a bit of a
And
challenge.
there's some of these bolts that don't match, like they just grabbed them out of a bolt bin or something, or
I can imagine there's limited resources there.
limited resources. I can see that these rotors are deeply grooved.
Oh yeah.
Man, they're,
I think the word is track ready.
the pads
You're
are
looking
actually
for.
still thick, but they didn't replace the rotors, they just ran with
Clearly.
it, so. Let's take a look up through here in the engine area. You notice any drips on the ground, or?
No, I don't know how they'd get through, to be honest, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. It's one of the nicer cars I've bought in a while, if I'm honest, and that's a low bar.
Looks like the control arm bushings are a little beat up on it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I would say sway bar links all around would be in order. They're not loose, but the boots are really bad on them.
Bad as in crumbling away.
As in crumbling away, yes. I see some red fluid.
Strawberry?
I don't know what that is. I don't think it's actually a leak. It's like some sort of sealer they used.
Oh, okay.
Check your transmission hydraulic unit here.
Oh, I hope that's good. That would be the most obvious culprit to mechanically total this car.
Yes. I'm not really seeing any serious leaks on this car. That wasn't the case on Tyler's car.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Valdez it is.
That's right. I don't see anything serious under here other than the control arms, some brakes, and some sway bar links, and I think we'd be in business. It's not too bad of a story.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. And if it's better than Tyler, I'll always take that.
But that's not the end of the story. We still have to check the check engine light. Hopefully it's good news, Ed.
It's always good news. When you take a car like this to the mechanic, it's always a great experience. It's actually more like taking your pet tiger to the veterinarian. I think.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yes, uh-oh.
Is that how amazed you are at my car?
I am amazed at your car, but it's a P1131, which is a failed oxygen sensor. It's only on one bank, though.
There we go.
It's making it run really lean. That makes sense why you feel that half the engine is maybe not running like it should.
Yes.
Lack of power.
That's consistent with what it was feeling like. So do we just cure that by going out and accelerating harder?
You probably should replace the oxygen sensor.
Okay.
But you could try the Italian tune-up if you want.
You never know until you try. Well, that might slow me down in my race against Tyler's CL65, but at least we all know that my car's not nearly as bad as Freddy's.
Well, we have yet to get his car in here. Let's see just how bad it is.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do it. Well, first of all, two things, Freddie. I love the way this thing sounds, and I love the way it looks.
Thank you so much. So that is exactly what I was going for, the whole race car look. However, I am a little bit concerned about a few things. So in the interior, we have the seat that doesn't work.
Okay,
Window
window.
does not work. Oil pressure gauge Doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Lots of missing
Lots
interior
of missing
panels.
interior.
Yeah, no hazard switch. Don't know where that is.
Okay.
So that's just gone. I have a rear view mirror that is non-existent. So there's
Oh wow,
nothing there.
missing a lot.
But mechanically, I think it is 100% sorted. Maybe. So I mean, let's see.
Let's get started. Let's take a look.
Yes.
First things I notice is these catalytic converters are bashed pretty hard.
Right. So that wasn't me. I don't think.
I don't see any leaks right away in front of the engine.
I mean, these cars aren't known for leaking, are they?
Oh, they can if they're not taken care of.
Well, this car has been taken care of, my friend.
It looks like somebody has recently replaced the steering rack on here.
Yeah, that was me.
Well, that's good. It's nice to talk with someone who can actually do their own work.
Oh, does Tyler not do that?
No. How's the clutch doing on this thing?
Well, it's there. I mean, it's there. It needs to be changed. Yeah.
It needs to be changed.
Yeah. It's on its last legs. It's not going to make it.
It looks pretty thin in there.
Clutches are cheap on this car, right?
Right. Yeah, they're cheap. I was actually expecting a lot of leaks and a lot of bad things, but
No.
it's actually turning out pretty
Listen,
decent.
I know how to buy cars.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. Uh-oh. That whole thing is shifting.
Lower control arm bushing there. Mm-hmm. Take a look at this one.
That looks also not great.
Not as bad, but it's still loose.
Okay. Now, I don't want to sabotage myself, but up here we have a brand new Michelin PS4S tire.
Okay.
It's pretty expensive. Should it have these extra grooves in it?
Wow. That's
Yeah.
no good. It looks like it's been rubbing on something.
Yes.
Maybe something up in the wheel well?
What do you say if we take this wheel off and we smash whatever is rubbing on it with a hammer? Because this is...
Oh, I can see it up there. It's just a little pinch weld. Way up there.
Okay, so can we hit that with a hammer?
You could just bend the pinch weld over and it won't rub anymore.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to hit it with a hammer. And then hopefully you don't hit me with a hammer. With your
With the price.
All right, we're good. There we go. And the wheel is very, very hot. Oh boy, that is uncomfortable. Oh boy, that's tire.
That is tire.
Don't throw that away, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Just put that back.
Glue it back on.
Yep. Okay, I think we're done.
You done, huh?
Yeah, let's get this tire back on and you can check the interior.
Oh, I'm anxious to see the interior. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm a little scared of that. Okay.
Let's take a look at this thing here. I'm just amazed at how much stuff is missing. It's crazy. It's a weird sound under the hood.
Yeah, it's like a giraffe dying.
Sounds like a dying giraffe. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that.
So, that sounds like an exhaust leak.
The ticking noise, yes.
Yeah. Kind of smells like an exhaust leak now too.
Yeah, I think one of your exhaust manifolds are leaking.
Those are cheap, right?
No. And I think your power steering pump is the culprit of our dying giraffe noise.
Okay, are those cheap?
No.
Should this be a concern, the fact that the mass airflow sensor isn't really connected to the rest of the intake?
It's measuring, but it's getting dirt. It's measuring dirt as
It's
well.
measuring dirt.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting dirt into my engine.
So that's a bad thing. Yeah.
Okay, so,
There's a lot to do on this car. A big, big list.
okay, so if this car came to your shop, right, would you be like, let's do it, or get it out of my shop?
Get it out of my shop.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call you a quitter, but
There it is. There's the dying giraffe.
okay, maybe you're not a quitter. This thing needs work.
Okay.
With the wizard fully familiarized with the shortcomings of our supercars, we all convened for some inevitably bad news. I'm telling you, if Ferrari had to make a line of cars for Costco, this would be it.
Yes.
How'd that go for you?
Great. Well, not great. No, this needs a lot of work.
I heard banging, like violent banging.
Yeah, my tire was eating itself, so I fixed it though.
Yeah, it doesn't take a wizard to tell you this thing's trash. But wizard, here you are.
Take it easy on him. Maybe his car will run into the ground, but let's not run him into the ground.
Wait, what?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll start from lowest to highest. Lowest will be Tyler.
What? Of course. All expensive stuff.
So we got your car on the lift. We found that it needed motor mounts, needed transmission mount, transmission pan gasket, valve cover gasket.
Minor leaks, like nothing.
And the number I have for you is $2,000.
Well,
That's a pretty big percentage of a 13 grand purchase price.
a little more than I thought. Yes.
For a $200,000 car when new, $2,000 is all
That's it. It was really in pretty good shape. I was impressed.
home field advantage. I call shenanigans.
No, there's no shenanigans.
No. The wizard is uncorruptible. There's no.
Incorrect.
Well, yes, he won't lie.
But
And for you, Ed,
Yes.
we got your Vanquish on the lift and checked it out. We saw
peach
that-
of a car.
A peach. It's actually a very nice looking car. But it needs rotors, it needs control arm bushings, sway bar links, auction sensor, and parts on an Aston Martin are not cheap. $4,800 is your number.
Oh, 40. Well, that's pocket change to an Aston Martin owner, I suppose.
That's what I like to hear. Pocket change.
Yeah, I'll call Q. Get it right up.
Okay.
And now, this thing.
Thing?
Affectionate.
How dare you?
If I were to work on this in my shop, which I wouldn't, 11,500 is your number.
11 grand?
Yeah.
In what universe is 11 grand considered acceptable?
Interiors, a lot of it's missing.
It's a race car. It's lighter.
It's lighter, but the bill isn't going to be when you repair it.
Dude, I thought we were friends.
Well, we are, I hope.
Maserati owners don't have any friends.
So basically, what the car wizard is saying is light a match and walk away. Just walk away.
I think this might do it on its
Oh,
own.
hold on, guys. I'm getting another text, and it is from AutoTempest. It looks like you're in for quite an adventure. Let's put these broken down supercars to a real test. You must now make your way to a nearby racetrack where a series of further challenges awaits.
You have a race car.
It'll be in its element.
Yes.
But she's hurt.
Well, we're off now. Thank you so much,
No
Wizard.
problem.
This was very useful. I don't
Enjoyed
imagine
helping
we'll
you
fix
out.
any of that.
Thank you.
So, how am I getting home?
I suppose the same way you got here.
I'm gonna try something that I've seen in the movies.
Come on, let's try it.
There we go.
Oh, gearbox fault. Not a happy car.
Our day at the track won't be easy, but what is easy is searching AutoTempest.com for your favorite supercar, or daily driver, or family vehicle, or...
Safe to say, AutoTempest is the best way to find whatever you're looking for. They compile results from all the sites like TrueCar, Carvana, eBay, and more. AutoTempest.com.
all the cars, one search.